Hello, guys. Welcome to Approach the Nerds Arrowverse recap, which I know we normally do either on Friday or Saturday, but I was not feeling well yesterday. So, yeah, I'm here now. So, we're going to do it. We have 4 shows to talk about, and we have a big challenge ahead of us keeping Angry Grandma from coming out and keeping Maria's blood pressure in check. I don't have high blood pressure, but I feel like I'm getting it. So, boom, I got my water of truth here. Try and get that off camera a little bit so it doesn't distract you. Turning off my phone, guys. And then we're just gonna sit back and talk about the Arrowverse. I think it comes as no surprise to any of you that I have been disenchanted by most of the Arrowverse now for a while, especially post-crisis. So if my tone seems a little weird, it's because some of these shows legit get on my damn nerves. So I'm just putting it out there. Let's start off with Superman and Lois. Now, Superman and Lois I've actually been enjoying for the most part, but this has set the mood for me, the tone for me of what I think we've all complained about in the past. And that is that I am convinced of 2 major factors in Arrowverse CW writing. Number 1, cheating is okay. And especially will not have long-term consequences. And number 2, the Arrowverse specifically cannot stand parental authority. So we're going to jump into that because, it's what we do. Superman and Lois. So I'll start with the smaller stories. Lana's pretty much, revving up her mayor campaign because mayoral campaign. She's planning on running for mayor of Smallville. Now, everybody loves Lana for the most part, but of course, things are always going to come into play when politics are involved. And of course, when she announces she's going to be mayor and she's holding this event, there's always those douchebags that are in the town. They're like, well, why should we listen to you? Didn't you tell us to work with Morgan when he was here? Weren't you the reason that, everybody that was in danger, turned in Kryptonians and blah, 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 went through what they went through because you supported them and we believed in you. Why should we believe in you now? It's just like, the interesting part about that is that they're forgetting that they already had a mayor who also stood behind Morgan and was taking his money and doing all of the things that they're getting in their feelings about Lana and Kyle, their family, being on board for, which I thought is interesting. But, again, I digress. That is how it is in politics. So I can stand behind this because hypocrisy is a thing even in our world. So I get it. But yeah, the whole thing with Lana is kind of like a little tiny story. So basically, overall, her daughter convinces her to go online and do like a little impromptu cooking stream, something you would see in Reels or something on Instagram. And so far, for some reason, she got all these followers. And I'm like, that's interesting because I didn't think that, Smallville politics was that big of a thing. But, whatever. Her online presence, living her best life may get her, being a mom of the internet might get her elected. So, we'll see. Lana's story isn't that interesting to me. I mean, yes, the guy is an a-hole that's currently mayor that she's running against, but I mean, it's just not that much of a thing for me. Okay, so let me go to the next minor story, and that is Jordan. Jordan is in his feelings because Sarah kissed a girl at camp. Now, how would I describe how I feel about this situation? Amused, I think, is a good way of saying this. This is me keeping Angry Grandma in check because this is something that happens actually not just in the Arrowverse, it happens in CW writing. Jordan wants to tell Sarah his secret. Now remember, she confessed that she kissed somebody else in the last episode. He was half mad for a millisecond. And now it got to the point where Jonathan, hell, even Nat were like, well, see it from Sarah's point of view. I mean, you're keeping a secret too. And, blah. It is like, okay, yes, I'm not telling her the family secret, the secret that I have powers. My dad is Superman because it might endanger her life. It endangers our lives, blah, blah, blah. I didn't haul ass kiss somebody though. You know what I mean? And it's like they literally put the secret identity and the secret powers, Kryptonian heritage, secret on the same level as her just going out there living her best life at camp. I don't understand that. And it literally became Jordan was like kind of avoiding her, but it wasn't because he was just completely in his feelings about her technically cheating. It was because he couldn't tell her that he was Superman's son and that he had powers. And I'm like, how the hell did we get from her cheating to him having to literally make it up to her by giving her like a family locket that's been in the family and getting into a fight with Clark saying, I want to tell her the truth. I love her. I want to marry her. What in the hell happened? I'm just tired, guys. I'm a little tired. I have to say, whenever Arrowverse writing drips into shows that normally don't have a lot of Arrowverse writing, it kind of it wears me down. So yeah, the whole thing with Jordan and Sarah, I'm just going to go on record of saying it in this review, is just effing stupid. It's dumb. And we'll go to Clark's reaction stuff and him snapping in a minute, but like the overall like theme of this also makes no sense. It's like there's no consequence for cheating. It also is interesting that Clark told Jordan at the end of the episode, if you still feel the way you feel about her in a year, then we'll have a different conversation about you telling her about your powers. At 16, well, I think they're 15 now. So at 16, if the whole year goes by, you turn 16 and you still want to tell your girlfriend, then yeah, we're going to have a conversation about telling her that I'm Superman and you. What? The parents are always wrong in this Arrowverse universe. I'm just putting that out there as well. The parents are always incorrect. If you discipline your child, you're wrong. It's very interesting. So yeah, so that there's a lot to that. I just thought that was very, how do I say this? Stupid. So had to call that out. So let's talk about Clark losing his shit. To be fair, as a mother of 25 years, if my kid was, I'm like, I'm having some issues. I'm gonna launch you out the window. I tell my daughter all the time, I'll make another one like you. Like I don't understand how. Yes, he yelled. He's like, go away. And he's like really, really aggressive. Now, okay, his eyes, like his heat vision coming out. That technically, I would say, that's kind of aggressive because it makes you feel like your children are looking at you like, oh shit, you're about to set me on fire. But him yelling and raising his voice and then and Lois is like, you gotta talk to the boys. I'm like, that's hypocrisy for me because Lois yells at the damn boys all the fucking time. I'm like, she raises her voice and tells them to go to their room and she has two tones. It's nothing and screaming. I don't understand why she's telling Clark, you need to talk to the boys and make this right. And I'm like, wow. Okay. Parental authority does not exist in the Arrowverse, and you are always wrong. Because I literally can put how Lois's tone is with the boys matched with Clark's. Clark, yeah, he yelled a little bit, but it was still kind of like, it was like, you could tell it was kind of like angry, but controlled anger. And she's just haul ass screaming. She's like Bulma in freaking Dragon Ball. She's screaming at the top of her lungs, go to your room. I found that to be a little hypocritical. So I just have to call that situation out because, again, this is a writing problem, and that is something that bothers me. But him having all of the rages and losing his shit, we do get an answer for that, and we'll talk about that in a second, what's going on with him. But I want to kind of just go down the line really quickly, get the non-important stuff out of the way, and then we'll talk about the big reveal. So while he's losing his crap, there was a reference. There was something that Lois said. She says, now's not the time to go doomsday on me. And I'm like, all right, I'm like, they're either saying that this is doomsday or it's definitely not doomsday because she knows of doomsday now. So obviously it can't be doomsday. And I was like, shit, that's stupid. So then Lois on the side is literally like dealing with Lucy's cult people, and then the cult bitch shows up at the end of the episode. And I just found that whole thing to be interesting because like Lois has a very dysfunctional family. The dad's dysfunctional. The mother left. The dad was like my dad. My dad's military, hands off, doesn't want to be in your shit. Very hard to be emotionally connected to. So Sam Lane is a lot like my real dad, like my actual father, but at the same time, not as much of a dick as my dad. So I think it's interesting that it's almost like he chose like Lucy over Lois, like that he's playing favorites. Which also makes me wonder if Lucy Lane knows that Clark is Superman. I don't think she does. So I think her sister does not know that her brother-in-law is Superman. Because if she did, I'm pretty sure she would have told the people in the cult and they would have exploited that. So I'm really curious to see what's going to happen when they bring Lucy in. But for this episode, all case and purposes, she is still very much connected to the cult that she almost killed herself over. And the father acted like he didn't want to know what was going on, to the point where he didn't even write the expose that Lois wrote on them after she saved her sister from practically drowning in the bathtub. He didn't do it until he got into this thing with Lois, and she's like, you're just a piece of crap, Dad, so I'll just deal with it myself. And so he sets up like this whole meeting. And what's so weird for me is that I knew that Lucy was not going to show up. I don't know why. I just had a feeling we were not going to see Lucy in this episode. And of course, it's the little manipulative cult person, a cult owner or whatever, that if you really think about it, think of the irony of this entire situation. Chloe in Smallville in real life was actually involved in a cult. So it's like they took the story, the actual real life event, and wrote it into Superman and Lois. And if you look at it from that perspective, it's funny as hell. So, yeah, I thought that was interesting. But again, we needed to have something for Lois to do. So that is Lois's story, side story, on top of the fact that her husband is losing his shit. So, it is what it is. All right, so let's go to one more thing, and that is that Jonathan, and I told you guys, it's because Jonathan Kent is Prime Boy Superboy, and maybe he read his own comic, so he's in his feelings that he doesn't have strength and all of his dad's powers, that he is super jealous of this kid on his team that is juicing up on, I guess, a version of, like, I'm thinking it's like a liquid version of Kryptonite X. I don't know. Something to the level that gives him, it's a super steroid. Let's just put it that way. So he finds out that his girlfriend is on it. He gets into a fight with the guy when he realizes that, his girlfriend, or not, that she's selling it, sorry, that he gets into a fight with the guy that's juicing over it. And we learn about her. The reason that she's actually selling it is because she's poor and she's in a poor neighborhood. And when she's like, look at where we live, I was thinking, it's Smallville. Like, everybody's poor. But she's like, my dad, I guess he lost his job. And this is how I can make sure we pay our bills. So she's a drug dealer. And she's selling to the athletes. And instead of Jonathan breaking up with her, he literally asked her to sell it to him. Now, let me go back to my original statement about Smallville. They do not have a working farm. The dad works part-time as a coach. The mother is a co-owner of a freaking paper that they aren't even selling anything at yet and haven't even staffed another reporter. Where are they getting this money to give to their son to go buy drugs? He didn't have a job. Hell, are there jobs? I don't even know. So, I mean, where are they getting this drug money? I think I'm more interested in where he gets the drug money from than the actual drug story. That's just basically how I feel. But by seeing this, I am seeing that Jonathan Kent is jealous of the fact that he's the twin that's human, quote unquote, even though he is half Kryptonian. He doesn't have the gene. Which is, I just think it's very interesting. And honestly, he could have a latent gene. He doesn't know he's not going to have powers. It just, I don't know. Like I said, it's the whole thing to me is strange. All of it is strange. So yeah, Jonathan's going to start juicing and it's going to become a big thing. I'm sure he's going to get a lot of fallout behind it. But at the same time, they need to understand, if your twin brother has all of these abilities and you don't, and you have, and you were, on the football team all before this went down and you came to Smallville, and it's like you're not a quarterback anymore. You're not successful. You have to live in Smallville because of your brother's anxiety initially. And then he gets the powers. You don't. He gets a girlfriend. You got a druggy girlfriend. I mean, Jonathan's life has taken a fucking leap, and a downward spiral since they got to Smallville. And he's actually handled it with a lot of grace. And that's why I've always thought to myself, eventually he's going to snap because he's suppressing shit. Because look at Lois. Lois is a damn mess in this show. That woman needs all kinds of therapy. So yeah, it makes absolute sense. I will say this is a very realistic storyline that he would be attracted. I thought he would actually have been attracted more to the Kryptonite X back when everybody was getting juiced up and having the Kryptonian souls put in them because they have powers and he doesn't. So I always thought that would have actually made him want to be, more like that. So I don't know. Nat's kind of in her feelings because her dad, they're supposed to be starting over. He's not supposed to be getting involved in all their confuckery. He's not supposed to wear the suit, or at least without her fixing the suit. She's already lost her mom. She doesn't want to lose her dad. I get that. But I will tell you this. So everything that went down in the mine, he goes undercover for Lois, of course. He gets knocked out by, I'm just going to say it's Petra from freaking Motherland Fort Salem. That's who her character is in that show, and that's what I'm calling her in this one. But she basically the scientist that has an agenda for the company. They want what's in the mine. So she knocks him out, which, I saw coming a mile away. She looks evil. But he gets knocked out. Superman shows up, starts fighting the creature that came out. It is wailing on Superman. And I will tell you where the money-making scene came from in Superman and Lois this week. It came with John Henry pulled a damn Tony Stark Iron Man situation where he leaped in the air. He called his damn suit. His suit went flying from nowhere and started appearing around his body. I'm like, that shit was hot. I'm like, why can't they do stuff like that all the time? They spent their whole budget on that one scene. And they recycled everything else. That's basically it. That scene was cool. So, and I mean, I have no complaints there. But it is effing bizarro. Are you fucking kidding me? I told my spouse, I said, it's either bizarro or it's freaky Superman, Christopher Reeve style from Superman movie 3. where he fights himself in the junkyard. But now that was literally, actually, if you think about it perspective wise, that mine area kind of looked like the junkyard scene. So yeah, it's like they took that Christopher Reeve moment where he fought himself, the evil version of himself, only it's bizarro. I feel lackluster about this. Because first off, I would rather they have had an experience with Bizarro already and it's actually been Doomsday or someone else, Darkseid, somebody else. Bizarro. Anyway, so now we know that he is the right now biggest antagonist that they have to face, and that him being connected to Clark, making him more rageful, claustrophobic feeling and all of that is interesting because I don't remember this in the comics. I've seen a lot of different iterations of Bizarro appearance in the comics. His original one, I don't remember him ever being psychically or telepathically linked, or empathically linked to Superman. But you know what? Whatever. It's the CW. They do what they do. But I just feel like I really wish there was more. And I guess I'm just asking for a lot. I guess. I don't know. I really wanted this threat to be some omnipotent thing. I did not want Bizarro. But that's what we got. We got Bizarro. So it's Bizarro. Yay. Yay. Overall, it wasn't a bad episode. Again, what made the episode for me was John Henry calling on that damn suit. I was like, hey. This one right here. Give Steel his own damn show. Give him his own show. I would be cool with that. But yeah, outside of that, it is what it is. It was a okay episode. Wasn't the best, wasn't bad, but did beat us over the head with the fact that you can cheat and it's completely acceptable within the Arrowverse and the CW universe. And if you're a parent, shut up. We're also going to move this exact conversation parentally over to Naomi in a second because it happened again there. So I told you I was going to be in my feelings this week, guys. But yeah, I'll look at your questions. I know you guys are putting stuff in there in comments, but I'm going to roll through to Naomi. I'm going to try to get through all 4 so we have a little bit more time to talk about these shows so I can get back to watching We Are All Dead on Netflix, my Korean zombie series that is love. All right. Naomi, episode 3, season 1, of course. So, first of all, we keep getting little nuggets and pieces of the Arrowverse version of Naomi's origin story. So, I don't know how much this is going to play into the comic book origin, because I don't know. I feel like it could, because Naomi, again, is not a character that's been around for a very long time. I feel like this is the origin story to her becoming Powerhouse, which is what her, alter ego name is in the comics eventually. In the Justice League, she was named that, Powerhouse, and now I think she's with Young Justice, which makes me wonder if they're going to bring her into Young Justice like they are in the comics. That would be interesting. But I feel like this could really go a multitude of different directions, because at the end of the day, it is still the Arrowverse. And even though CW, I believe, is being sold, I don't know how much this is going to affect her series. So for basically the basis of what we have right now of season 1, it potentially could be similar, and it could potentially be not. All right, so I'm just going to go over some of the things that I thought were interesting. So, Naomi found the disc back, in, I think it was a warehouse? They were in the middle of like an old, and this happened in the last episode. It was when they all went to like a place where they thought the UFO sighting had crashed or whatever. I want to say it was a warehouse or like a way station. It was something weird. I don't know. Like I said, it's a lot. Her Scooby-Doo gang, they move around a lot. It's too much for me. So, like, I'm just being real with you. They move around too damn much. But, they got the disc, and there's, of course, the symbols on them. And Naomi wants to know what the symbols mean. She wants to know what the disc is made out of. So, on a field trip to another college, one of her classmates from her Scooby-Doo gang, our Naomi gang, Scooby Naomi gang, they decide to go break into the science lab, and they're going to use a really expensive ass kind of laser to analyze it. And as soon as she was like, hey, can you distract so we can do this? She kept asking each individual person if they can do it. And all of them were like, no, we don't want to stay in this boring ass trip. So then I already knew that they were going to get caught and busted, because no one's covering for anybody. So they all go to lab, and they literally analyze this disc. Now, what people don't realize is that when they were in Z's office, and that's basically what I call Zumbato. I call him Z because I like doing that. So the fact that he did not stop, them from leaving, knowing that this was in their pocket, told me right there that it was fake. Now, the only thing I'm leaving out in terms of why they were there, Naomi had to give the disc to him in the last episode. And of course, he put it in his safe area in, his auto place. Because, if you're a supervillain, why would you not be a car dealer? That makes perfect sense. And they convinced their teacher, because they somehow realized she bought a car, that one of their parents got a discount, and how dare she not get that coupon. So the teacher went up there and like, hey, hold up, you didn't do that for me when I bought a car from you last week. Convenience. So she has to go out there with him and pick out another car that's more affordable, so they can stay in the office and find this disc. This is Arrowverse CW writing at its finest, guys. And so they grab the disc, and then they're getting ready to leave. And of course, Z's right there, and he doesn't stop them. That should have clued her in right effing there that something was up with that, because he would have stopped her, because he knows about the disc. He took the disc from you. Why would he let you be in the office alone, knowing that his shit is in there? That's what kills me about these shows. But anyway, so they're on the college tour. They're trying to analyze the disc. It disintegrates because it's not real. Naomi and her friends get busted, and this is where it gets weird, because this goes back to the parental authority thing. Okay, Naomi goes out whenever she wants. She comes home whenever she wants. She does whatever the hell she wants, and she's like, "You treat me like an adult my whole life, and now you want boundaries?" I'm like, well, to be fair, they're still your parents, and if your parent told you to be home by dinner, and not only were you not home by dinner, you didn't even call, and then you lied and said you were with Lourdes, and Lourdes is like actually had called to ask for you, and then you're gonna get in your damn feelings and get an attitude about them saying you're grounded and taking your phone. This see, that's why, like, it's like my daughter. I will completely uninvent your ass. That is literally my motto. Uninvent you. I've given you this many years. I'm done. So the fact that it's always the parents that have to come and apologize, or they have to like come up to the girl and be like, I'm sorry, we were so harsh. No. You lucky I didn't find that cast iron and put it upside your damn head. Talk to me like that. I'm like, I do not understand. I will never understand the parents in the Arrowverse. They are weak as fuck. I'm like, I don't get it. Woo, okay, I'm in my feelings, guys. Angry grandma, bring it down. When that little girl was on that couch, I was like, "I'll snatch a knot in your ass." Anyway, so these are questions that I have because this is pertaining to what's happening. The episode for me felt jumbled. It felt all over the place. The reason it feels Z meeting up with people, back to her parents being pissed at her, then a little bit of revelation, and then back. So like, it's not a bad episode. I just don't like the flow of this episode. So like, that's why I'm talking about it like this. So Naomi, another thing that she has a problem with is patience. We've learned this because in the episode, Dee's trying to teach her martial arts so she can focus and be able to use her powers. And Naomi's like, nah, I just want to use my shit. I'm ready. How the hell are you ready? You just believed you have powers in the last damn episode. I don't understand. And Dee's like, no, you need patience. She's like, no, I can do it. I got billies. I can fly. And I'm like, what the hell is wrong with you? And then later on, when her and Annabelle are trying to get this object that's, basically gives another clue to who she is, the building is like not stable. And she uses her ability to kind of lift up, the area so she can see basically visually what's in there more, and could have literally killed her and Annabelle. Like, there, no joke. She could have, I don't think she would have died. Well, we know she wouldn't have died, but Annabelle could have died. And I'm like, why are you doing this? So I guess, I don't know. Naomi is just a spoiled, rotten kid that has, who has parents that are kind of weak and has not really, for me, been through anything. And I feel like it's interesting because we're used to seeing the teenagers at least struggle in some way. Like if you go back to Black Lightning, Anissa and Jen struggle, they had to deal with racism, systemic racism, like all of this crap, and then on top of that, their dad being Black Lightning and then developing powers and figuring out how to do all this shit. Naomi is like, I'm not an alien. Oh, I have powers. I don't believe that. Comic book characters aren't real. Oh, wait, what? I am? Oh, I did move some shit. So let me go jump off the bridge and then bam, I'm a superhero. Like, the pacing, guys, is just crazy for me. And it's not reflective of the comic itself. So it's just very interesting how this is working. Because to be fair, Naomi is a really powerful character. She's like in a mega level, I guess they call it like superpowered or mega powered, godlike powers or whatever in DC universe. Cause I know they don't usually do that, but like if we were talking Marvel, she'd be an Omega. She is very, very strong. She doesn't realize that yet, but she is very, very strong. I feel like because we have her origin story is being like little pieces are like being construed everywhere. Like it's hard to do like a full overview of an episode when it's like they're purposely, it's almost like, okay, it's like we have amnesia and we're having memory spikes every now and then. We're piecing our backstory slowly together without, with very little help from anyone else. That is what it effing feels like in the pacing of the show. So like when I was thinking about it, so let's just talk about the comic for a second and then I'll go back into this. I think this will make like some more sense. So they never reveal in the comics up to this date, unless somebody knows something I don't, they never talk about who are the names of Naomi's parents. We just know that they were two of the people that all of a sudden got godlike abilities on their planet. Their planet is like being destroyed by the ozone layer. They, right before this happens, right before all this stuff goes down, there's kind of like a civil war because like you have one side of superpower people are like, hey, we're superpowered. Let's take this shit. And then we got the other, side. It's like, no, we need to protect people and use our powers for good. So like basically it's a civil war. And her parents were on the side of people who didn't want to take over the world. And then Z ends up, I think he was like a serial killer or he was a murderer. He was either like being killed or was in the process of being electrocuted, or it was something weird. But he got powers when he was about to die, basically in jail, either in the act or right before he was about to go to death row. And so that when you give somebody who's already capable of murder the ability to do anything, it makes you effing insane. And Z is like, he's not like a regular villain. He's like top tier, like dark side level shit. So I don't know if that's what they're going to do in the Arrowverse, because let's be clear, the Arrowverse has a habit of milking down every powerful character in the effing universe. I don't know why they make these omnipotent characters nothing. They have one good episode and it's like, I'm weak as fuck. So I don't know what they're going to do with Z going forward. Also his connection to Akira, who was one of the generals. I believe she was a general that worked with him in the past. And because of actions that Z did, because we meet her in this episode, actions that he did, it made it impossible for her to go back home. So I hope we get more exposition on this, because again, right now we're doing that trope that I hate. It's when we whisper the past and we imply bad shit happens and we give you a tiny little nugget, but don't worry, 5 episodes from now, you'll get another one. I hate that shit. So like, I don't have to know your full damn story. I don't need to know that you like long walks on the beach. I don't need to know your astrological sign, blah, blah, blah. I just want to know how you two people know each other and why the hell you need Naomi, because apparently they need Naomi to do something and get back home. So I don't know what it is, but again, they could veer stray really, really far from the actual comic. I did look it up what Earth they were on last week, because when we were talking about Naomi, and I'm like, she's supposed to be on Earth 0. So that's a thing. But they imply that her original birth planet, which is in the same universe, is actually like a parallel dimension when you go to it. It's weird. I mean, that's not what I remember from the comics, but I guess I need to dive more into that, because that sounds more like the utopian parallel from Marvel and America Chavez. So I don't know how interconnected that is, but to be fair, if you know anything about Naomi, you know that she's created by the same guys who worked on Into the Spider-Verse and had a big hand in Miles Morales. So Spider-Verse, another universe, it tracks. So there's that. And then we have, of course, so remember we have Adam Strange, who is basically Iranian. So the planet Ran, or Ron, however you want to pronounce it. That is where Greg is from. Greg McDuffie, who is her dad. He's basically a soldier who was sent to basically spy on, potentially capture a very, they say it's sadistic assassin from Thanagar, and that would be D. And in the comics, that is what happens. He goes to Earth to find D, but he ends up falling in love with Jennifer, who in the comic book was like this like punk like rocker chick. But in this version, she like, I don't know what she does. She's always wearing suits. I thought she was a teacher or like an administrative person for the military, but she's not the artist that she was in the comics. But she knows that Greg is an alien. We also don't know Greg McDuffie's real name either. They've never told us his alien name. So we don't know his real name. We just know that he is from the planet Ron. And so he is a whole ass alien too. Will they keep this in this story? I have no idea. The scene that we have in this episode, we see them, they have the whole little talk on the couch and they're like, we need to show you something. And they take her to like the middle of the woods where Naomi says, oh, are you coming out? Are you taking me out here to kill me? Which I thought was really funny, because I guess I could see that. I haven't been the best child this week. Maybe it's time for me to go and to start over. But and then of course Greg's like, we changed your diapers for 16 years. Why would we take you out now? Then they take her to this like place in the woods, and there's like this big like round circle like thing, this like thing on the ground, and she touches it and it lights up. In my mind, I thought that was Greg's ship. He was coming out to her as an alien, but then they were like, and we found you here, which is not, I don't think that's how it happened. I'm pretty sure they were in a stadium when they found her through a portal, where he found her and Dee found her at the same time, and they both agreed to kind of raise her, Dee more like from a distance, and Greg becoming her adopted dad. So I don't know. There's so much that's already, it looks like it's changed from the comics. So I have no idea what the hell they're doing. I'm gonna be real with you. I'm just as amazed as everyone else. But I had to put that out there because my brain, when I watch this show, is just like trying to connect dots that I don't know if those dots even exist. So in a perfect world, Jennifer will know that Greg is from the planet Ron and was an ex-soldier, and he's masquerading as a human and pretending to be Greg McDuffie. That is the name that he chose. Now, how he got a social security card, a birth certificate, or anything else to get into the military as a military brat, I can tell you they do extensive testing and checks when they recruit you. I don't know how he surpassed all that unless he has like a genius level hacker IQ or he's got connections somewhere, but it's like, what the hell? I don't know how they're pulling that off, but again, it happened in the comic. It is what it is. But the parents both should know that she's a whole ass alien and that he's an alien. But when she touched it and lit up, the parents both look like, oh, and it's like, what? Like, don't you fucking know? And like on top of that, what? Again, military brat, okay? My father never came home and told me what the hell his missions were, what he was assigned to do, nothing. Here comes Naomi's dad. Yeah, so on assignment, we're actually hunting all the aliens. And it's like, that's classified effing information. Why are you just blatantly sharing that with your 15-year-old, 16-year-old daughter? So like I said, this show, it has potential, but it's so effing all over the place. I still haven't wrapped my mind around the fact that Superman and them are supposed to just be comic book characters, and you know everything that happened in the square on them. You know when they thought, I'm pretty sure, I don't really know what they thought. I think they thought that Superman wasn't real, and that it was like an actor who was like paid to fight some guy in purple, which instead of what actually went down in the comics. It's like I don't know what they thought, but it's just weird that action, the military is like, well, this could be fake or could be, they find like a piece of a red cape and they're thinking it's Superman. So like now it's like open season on aliens that apparently in this world nobody thought existed, and superheroes aren't supposed to exist. So I don't know what's happening at all in Naomi. All I know is that we are slowly discovering their version of her origin story along with Z, and how she's connected in his plan and how he plans to use her. And apparently Akira, the woman that we know is from the same planet as them, because that's how they know each other, who I guess owns a museum or is an art curator. I don't know. She says that's the only place she likes on Earth. So that's kind of messed up. But she doesn't want to use the girl. So I don't know if she has more of a conscience or she just doesn't want to get involved with Z stuff, because it's very obvious she doesn't like him. I don't know. It's all, I don't know. So, and then as a reviewer, I don't like not knowing shit. So I was like, I don't like this. I don't like this at all. Like I can tell you just a breakdown, just a regular recap. They went to Z's office. They got a disc. They tried to analyze the disc, illegally by breaking in the lab and using a very expensive like laser that none of them can pay for. And the disc went away. All of her friends are always fucking around. I'm like, I don't know why, because I kind of feel like they're all liabilities at this point. Yes, you need to have a team, but somebody needs to do something. I mean, is she not going to have superpowered friends besides D? I'm confused. Or at least have people that can fight. Like, not people you have to save all the damn time. Though, to be fair, though, this does remind me a lot of Spider-Man and No Way Home and MJ and Neil. Ned. What is wrong with me? Ned. I'm losing my mind. But to be fair, Ned actually had stuff going on in the comics. But I don't know. I feel like they're trying really hard to establish this character, but there's not as much material for her. And this is what I worried about when we talked about the show being licensed and picked up after the pilot. I'm like, they can do absolutely anything. And that is very dangerous with the Arrowverse. It's dangerous because Naomi's not a bad character. I really like the character. I don't know. Just like something else that they did not incorporate in this is that Naomi has anxiety disorder. Now, I'm not talking like Jessica Cruz, like PTSD. I mean, like actual anxiety attacks, which is what I thought was happening in episode 1. but they already, like, by the end, they already showed that it wasn't that. It was just basically her powers, doing what it did, which is why I didn't even bring it up. But she has anxiety disorder. And I thought that would be really cool to add to her character, to be more relatable, but that didn't happen. So, yeah. But generally speaking, the only things that I got out of this episode was the stuff going on with Akira is weird. Dee has his hands full because this child does not want to listen to the fact that she needs to learn martial arts and she is not ready to use her powers. Her friends are very bad influences and enablers, but she's also a very bad influence and enabler on them. But at least we didn't have all of them succumbing to her succubus ways this week. I'm so happy about that because I'm so tired of everybody flirting with her. And her friends obviously will do anything for her, including risk being expelled from school. Her parents are not allowed to give her discipline. I've learned this at all. And things like the glow when she touches them. That's literally what I got out of this episode. I will look at your questions and see what you think about this show. I would love to know, but I mean, that's all I got, guys. I'm keeping it real. It's not moving fast enough for me. It's not, it's just not. If I had to say anything about this, and I know this is going to give me a lot of flack, it was boring. This episode bored the shit out of me. So hopefully it'll pick up next week. I don't know. We'll see. I'm obviously going to still watch it, but again, I don't know. But I did like I said, I did have those questions though. I would love to see if they do put her in the comics, more, and then also adapt her into Young Justice, the cartoon, or even maybe we'll get our own Young Justice, in her universe. I don't know, but it is definitely dragging for me. And I just need it to not do that because it's stupid. All right. Legends of Tomorrow, season 7, episode 10, on crack as usual. So basically what the Legends are doing this week is they have decided that they want to attract the Wave Rider and the evil versions of themselves by going back in time, or going and stopping a fixed point in time, basically. And so Gwen comes up with that. And he's like, hey, I know what we can do. We can go stop the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand. And I'm like, why do that? Why not stop Batman's parents from being killed, or from creating the Manhunters, or Barbara Gordon from being paralyzed by Joker, or Barry from becoming the Flash and essentially fucking up everything with Flashpoint, or prevent Crisis, the fucking stupid ass crossover they did for the CW last year, or more personal, save Laurel from being killed by Damien Dark. Something that the evil version of her should have memories of. Something like that. Why do we have to do this? I'm like, why? I love this show. But why? Why this fixed point? Anyway, so they decide to go to Sarajevo into 1914, and they show up at this place, and it's like a bar that's literally a warehouse, or a safe house in between. It's like a fixed point itself in time. So you can see all the different fixed points, and then when you buy these tickets, and then you have the option of going out and stopping it from happening. But the downside is you could potentially die. So of course, Sarah's the one that they need to send because Sarah is invincible. So really, she can say what she wants to say about Bishop, but if it wasn't for Bishop, none of the Legends could have done that without dying, because she died so many times. It was like that movie, Happy Birthday to You, I think it's called, the Groundhog Day of murder. She got killed so many times in their attempts to try and stop this assassination. My favorite is when she shot out the poison dart and it went right back in their thing and choked her out. But then we realized that there was a man in a tall hat, and the man in the tall hat is no other than Eobard. And he is there. So the Time Wraiths apparently revived him because he was basically punished and sentenced to guard this one fixed point in time. It just happened to be the same fixed point they chose. And so work with me here, people. If that's the case, then why not go back in time and go to another fixed point? Why did we waste so much time on this one? Okay. Oh, look, my little spam person here. It's not fun till the spam shows up, apparently. All right, so I guess I'll just go ahead and just reveal that they were able to overcome that by, Sarah. Well, technically, we still have next week, but I think she has 45 minutes. So Sarah has 45 minutes. So her and Yubar came to an understanding that she has 45 minutes to get the Wave Rider back from the evil versions of themselves, or she has to agree to take Yubar's place, Thon's place as the Guardian. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, that's all I'm gonna say. I have seen fixed points in Justice League. I've seen fixed points in Sandman. I've seen fixed points in what is it? What was it? It's another DC group, and it just went out of my head. It's not a common one. I'm old, but yeah, I've always seen like these areas where it's kind of like, this is your void. This is your first stop between heaven and hell, or between the future and the past. So that concept's fine. I don't mind that. I was amused by the Groundhog Day. I mean, the fact that Sarah kept dying, and then people were betting. I think they were betting on her, and there was a little annoying group of 3 little teenagers. There's 1 alien and 2 human looking guys who were like literally talking shit to them and calling them senior citizens the entire time they were there. So that was that. So I was like, okay, it is what it is. But yeah, so all that stuff was happening with Fixed Point. And on top of that came little things that were happening on the side, like Gwen basically coming to terms with the fact that he's going to save his boyfriend, but he's going to do it in a way that he never meets him. Therefore, he doesn't have to sin and be in love with a man. And I was like, oh, Lord, they went there. Oh, Lord, they went there. They pulled the religion. I was like, okay. A big misconception, I think, that a lot of people have in the world is that if you are queer, that you cannot be a religious person, or you cannot be a Christian, or you cannot believe in God. And my spouse was raised Catholic. So I think it's interesting. And I mean, again, this is not a non-truth. It's not a non-truth. This stuff is actually something that happens a lot in our society today. But I love how Ava was like, I don't know anything about this Bible and anything about God, but love is 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 love. And he's like, that's beautiful. And I'm like, literally, she tried reasoning with him and saying all this stuff, and her just saying love is love is love is love is love is what got through to him. I'm like, this is how I know I'm watching Legends of Tomorrow. They will take serious, like basically serious things, and then they will kind of passively make it not important, which I guess is really good. It's actually a good thing, because they do it again with Spooner in this episode. Although the way they revealed this kind of irked me a little bit. And that's because they're doing the thing that I also hate that actually is reflective of real life. So it's not anything against the show. It's just annoying. Whenever you have a BFF and they get in a relationship, you're sidelined. And that is what's happening with Astra and Spooner. They became BFFs. They're extremely close. And she started going out with Bayrod. So that means that Zari and Spooner are now forced to be together and be friends. And I don't want this to be at the expense of Astra and Spooner's friendship, because I really love their friendship. And I guess I was a little surprised that in casual conversation, because at the beginning, Zari and her had nothing in common. Like, Spooner wasn't going to talk about makeup. Zari was not going to talk about guns, even though they mentioned it. They had nothing in common. But then they, kind of found that they both like talking shit about people. And then another thing that bonded them together was the fact that, Astro, who I guess now Spooner considers like a sister, and Zari's brother are now dating. So that leaves them the ones that are on the sideline where the siblings are all over each other, ignoring them. But they chose that moment to start talking about relationships. And when Zari asked Spooner who she was into, she was like, not really into anybody. And I'm not really into them. I'm not really, she's like, I don't really see anybody that way. And so she's like, is that weird? And of course, Zari's like, no, you're asexual. And I'm like, that should have been something that she had actually shared with Astra, because they are the ones that have been like bonding over their moms, bonding over their past traumas of being, children that were in really shitty situations. Like, they have all of these things in common. And because Astra now has a boyfriend, she doesn't get that anymore, if that makes sense. It's like, even when they had this, when Zari and her had this little talk, and Bayrod and Astra came up and was talking to them, she's like, well, what were you talking about? And they're like, nothing. And I'm like, that really, I don't know. I didn't like that. That really made me unhappy. So I'm upset that you got me really into this friendship between Spooner and Astra. And now that Astra's dating Bayrod, it's like, what friendship? I hate that shit. I really do. I really hate that. So I don't know. I don't know. That is just my opinion going forward. I just don't like it. All right. So I'm trying to think of some good characters, because, like, again, this is Legends. We know that Sarah's going to try and get back the Wave Rider. We do know that there's going to be a confrontation between the evil Legends and the good Legends. We do know that Gary and Gideon are still very, very adorable, like extremely adorable. But like Naomi, this was not. It wasn't a bad episode. It just wasn't as silly. It was more like a team bonding and pairing people together that don't normally talk to each other on the ship, which is very odd. And, and I guess becoming an overall Legends crew. I think that's kind of like what this really did, outside of Sarah finding Eobard and figuring out how to attract the Wave Rider. It was mostly have everybody bond together, and realize that we all love Sarah and we all support you. And the one thing that we're good at is failing and things like that. So it's just another typical Legends of Tomorrow episode. And the only two things that stood out for me is just the play on religion and making that really not important, and the love is love is love is love speech from Ava, because somehow that worked. And which is weird. This guy is deeply rooted in his religion, but that love is love is love is love is love is like literally how, using Lin-Manuel's like lyrics are like how you got him to come around. And I mean, I don't think he's seen In the Heights or Hamilton or anything, probably not even Moana. So like, it's just really interesting. And then the whole asexual revelation, which I don't care that they didn't make a huge deal out of it, but like, even because Spooner's response was something along the lines of, oh, okay, cool. I'm asexual. Nice to know. But the fact that wasn't a Spooner Astra thing kind of bothered me. That's how I feel about it. So yeah, those were the highlights though. Asexual Spooner, love is love is love is love's Gwen. Sarah, Groundhog Day, Happy Birthday Dying was funny. And then, of course, getting to see Reverse Flash again. But that's really all that. It wasn't that. It's not that it wasn't entertaining. It just wasn't that big of a deal. I think next week I'll have a lot more to say, but this is just what it is. I mean, it's a thing. I don't know. I do know when I was watching the guy at the top, I was having Doctor Who vibes, but that's a whole other conversation. All right. And now let's talk about Batwoman. Season 3. Episode 10. So how do I put this first? So Batman is not able to take out Poison Ivy in a fight. But Ryan is, as Batwoman, when she couldn't take out Kate Kane or mostly anyone else without assistance. So I'm just very curious. I'm just very curious how this, even though people will say, but Poison Ivy, was weakened, blah, 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 but if I could drink, guys, if I could have alcohol, I would right now. I swear to God. So Pam and Mary have the CEO of, I think it's called Gotham Healthcare, United Health. It's something like that. She has them like hanging upside down by a vine where Mary's like torturing him because, when I was a doctor, all these poor people kept going poor because you would deny all their claims. I was actually clapping for that because, I have to deal with a lot of insurance in my job. And I understand that things get denied for stupid reasons. And sometimes at the effect of somebody or the cost of somebody's life or health. So for some reason, I was oddly okay with this. I'm like, it's a thing. Again, I like Mary's character. For the most part, I like Sophie's character. There are times I like Alice's character. I think the only characters I have a problem with are actually Ryan and Luke, which is so weird. But okay. So I'm gonna see if I can put this in perspective of how I don't understand the writing of this fucking show. So, okay. So they get Renee because Alice is smarter than all of them. Because Alice shows up and is like, she basically shows up to save Mary. That's what it is. And she helps them basically track down Renee. And they get Renee because Renee was getting tickets for them to leave. And so they're holding Renee, and Sophie's like, "Wow, why would you do this?" Blah blah blah. Now I have to say this disclaimer wise too. If this had been at the time Kate Kane in season 1, Sophie probably be doing the same damn shit. I'm just saying. I'm just putting it out there. But because the main characters of this series have main character insurance, when they are villains, it's not them being villains. They're just being influenced. And then when everybody else is doing it, that normally isn't a villain. They're just, made to look horrible. And this actually has been, for me, one of the hardest runs of this show to watch, because as somebody who really likes Renee Montoya as a character, she was fucking assassinated. And I mean, this is something that keeps happening in the CW's Arrowverse all the damn time. They literally took this brilliant woman and made her a weak little bitch to her girlfriend and basically villainized her. And I get in my feelings about this. And I said this in another stream that I did recently with Groove. I think when we were talking about Peacemaker, we sidetracked, and Renee never stood down for Kate, and she was in love with Kate. She never did things because it was her girlfriend in the comics. This led to her being the question, because she is one of those people that does not, she refuses to take her principles and shit on them for a romantic subplot. So I feel like by them writing this, not only did they not understand the comics, they didn't give a shit about it. And they don't give a shit about this character. And I'm in my feelings a little bit more because I generally think the actress playing Renee did a pretty good job in the beginning. You can't get on the actors for what they're given, because it's a script. They have to say it. They have to act it out, even if it's shit. And this is shit. So the whole thing with Renee compromising her principles and herself and her career and everything that she is for her favorite vajayjay makes no fucking sense to me. So I'm just going to put that out there. I'm going to put it out there. So this show, again, I have an allergy to Batwoman. I think that's what it is. I have an allergy. It's an allergy to bad writing. And this has very effing bad writing. And I've been dropping F-bombs, and I don't even care if I'm demonetized on this video. I really don't, because I fucking hate this show. So, okay. So let's just talk about Mary. They get Mary because Mary gets drained by Pam, because Pam is going back to the Gotham Dam to basically flood the industrial district. I mean, I understand that this is an extremist move. I do. I get it. But I think it's funny that most of the shit she was saying about the people getting cancer and the chemicals in their water and shit was true. And no one's going to do anything about it. Like, they save the dam. No one's going to do shit about it. Like, it's like, man, we expect that. That's normal that they're killing us. But the dam is going to flood the industrial district. I'm like, okay. So yeah, Pam uses Mary as her USB based charger, 3.0 charger, and it drains her, and then she's taken in an ambulance. Well, Luke intercepts it, and they're basically at I'm sorry, I almost fucked up. I was gonna say they're at Kate's bar that she started, but remember, Ryan is now the owner of the bar too. I wish I had that kind of career trajectory. I'm a felon. I can barely get work. I tell my friend Mary that I am now working at her bar as an employee. Then I'm a manager all of a sudden, and now I own the fucking bar. Not even in a year. Hey, that's how you do it right there. But that's their headquarters right now for the Batcave. And I just think it's interesting that he intercepted the call. Now, this is the next part of the story that's going to piss people off. I'm sure that if they ever get like an inkling or a sniff of my reviews and see that I hate this show. So again, Alice. You ever notice that Alice is used all the time, but people always say, well, Alice is such a user, but they use the shit out of her and then they turn on her every fucking time. And so Ryan, especially Ryan does this notoriously. Ryan is such a bitch when it comes to Alice. So, all right. So she gets Alice to get in the car with her, and Alice is driving. And she's playing around with all of the buttons and stuff in the Batmobile, which I get because, why not? And then they have small talk over the fact that Ryan's in the Bat Chaser. So, because her and Sophie had that little kiss, and I'm saving that to the end because I don't have the brain capacity right now. So she's driving along. They're chasing the ambulance that Mary is in, and they get alongside it and they get in front of it, and then Batwoman basically scares the shit out of the paramedics, and they literally drop the body off in the street. They're like, fuck that, you take care of, you do what you do, and then they drive off. Kevin, I do see your comment. What happened to the Batcave? Nothing. Ryan is no longer CEO of Wayne Industries or Enterprises because she's a fucking idiot. But well, I can go over that and again in a second too. But anyway, all right, so they get Mary's body back. I'm saying body, she's unconscious. Her unconscious body back, and they put her on the couch, and they start having a little heart-to-heart with her, and Mary's like, I just want to go. I don't want to be in this. I don't want to be your friend. I just want to go live my life. Leave me the fuck alone. And then she feels betrayed that Alice was like the one that sold her out. And then she's like, I guess we really are close, and she makes her little disparaging remarks about that situation. And then they convince her to work with them to stop her destroying the dam, because Mary did not want to do that. She doesn't want to use her powers that way, even though she had no problem teaming up with Joker to stop Ryan in the previous episodes. Yeah. I don't understand where they were going with the direction of Evil Mary, because even Mary didn't really last but like 20 seconds. So it's a thing. So anyway, she's also in her feelings because they reveal that she killed the guy, and Poison Ivy did not marry. And I'm going to really talk about that in a second too. But anyway, so the idea is for her to basically take the stuff that Renee had been taking a drop of every day in her coffee to make her immune to Poison Ivy's mind juju. And if she has enough of it in her body, Poison Ivy should be weakened, and essentially all the Poison Ivy powers that Mary has should be taken out of her. Which kind of sucks, because I kind of wish she could have kept some of the powers. I think that would be cool for her to have plant-like abilities. She'd be a pretty good sidekick, but definitely better than Luke. But they do it, and then it all works out, and then they get Mary back, and so when they're talking to Mary, it's like, oh, welcome back, blah blah blah. We're never going to make you feel like you're not part of this team ever again. And I'm like, it's so funny because she was technically part of the team before Ryan was. And so it's like, she has to be reinitiated and promised her place on a team that she helped get Ryan into. Think of that for a minute. Think about how effed up that is. That's like you hiring an employee as a manager and then them becoming your boss and then telling you your job is safe. That is some bullshit. So it's just fucking stupid. And then she's like, but I killed someone. And Ryan's like, Poison Ivy killed someone. Okay, cool. That's enough of that shit. And then she went off to go talk to the Sophie. And I was like, God, I can't. The Ryan and Sophie stuff makes me cringe. And I think it's bad that I feel that way, because I've never seen two Black lesbian women on a show together. They're hooked up in a relationship. It's normally interracial, or you'll see two white, or, but normally 9 times out of 10 on the CW, it's usually an interracial couple. So, I mean, this is actually kind of momentous if you think about it. It's just because of how they did it and how they made Sophie into #Bat Chaser, it is really hard to take it fucking seriously. I just can't. It's just stupid. Like, this attraction that she has for Sophie is just out of fucking nowhere. This season, like last season, she couldn't stand her, and she was like, Angelique, I do everything for Angelique because I'm a hypocrite. And now it's like, oh, Sophie kissed me. Oh, Sophie looked at me. Oh, the feelings. And Sophie got over Kate so damn fast. The love of her life while she's on the show. Just saying. So yeah, I don't like talking about Ryan and Sophie, and I'm telling you, I'm probably gonna look at my analytics and see how many people are unsubscribing when I say that. The people that are watching this or get wind of this will unsubscribe because they hate when I talk bad about Batwoman. It's like I'm talking bad about the Black community that I am actually a part of because I am part Black, and I can't. I have to stress this every fucking week because I've been called. You have no idea how people are like, "You're so racist," and I'm like, "Wow," because I don't like a fucking show I'm racist. So I do not support the show at all. I don't, which sucks because again, some of the actors I like. I don't really have a problem with any of the actors. I mean, I don't know any of them. I like a few of the characters, but there are just Luke gets on my fucking nerves. He just does, and I think Ryan's a bitch. I mean, I think her character's written to be a bitch. She's so condescending. She talks shit to people. She's full of herself, which she shouldn't be. She should be actually really fucking humble about, fuck Batwoman. The fact that you have a roof over your head and not living in a fucking van anymore should make you humble. You know what it's like not to have anything, but you act like you've been entitled your whole fucking life. It's so stupid. The writing on the show is really fucking stupid. So anyway, back to the train wreck of this fucking episode. Overall, they're able to stop Poison Ivy because, Ryan somehow, some way is able to subdue her in a one-on-one fight, which I still call bullshit. I don't care that she was losing her power. She was still able to use some of her ability, and she should have killed her ass. She wasn't trying to kill Ryan. She's never tried to kill Ryan. But overall, the result of this, because we have to redeem our villains, is that Renee makes a deal so that they get to go hide up on this plane, the supply plane that's going to Coriana, Sophia's island, because where else would you take someone who literally can effing, I shit you not, control plant life than Coriana? So yeah, they're going to Coriana to go live happily ever after with each other. And the other thing that happened is because of the dam, there's two things actually. Because of the dam cracking, they weren't able to stop her from doing some damage. Other areas around Gotham Industrial are being pretty much flooded a little. One of them being Mary's lab. And a drop of fucking water lands on, Marcus's face. Which now I have to ask this question. Why did you leave him in the fucking lab? Why didn't you put him in a freezer, put him down in the bat cave in the fucking wall? Why did you have to put him in Mary's lab so conveniently a drop of water can just fly down and hit him on this damn thing? Oh, I can't even. I mean, this is something I would have written if I didn't know how to write and I was trying my hand for the very first time with very little English in fan fiction. This is what I would have written as a story. No, it would have been better. So never mind. And then the other thing is the kind of like they needed the Joker buzzer from Jada to try and figure out, how to save lives and it could save Marcus and blah, 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 blah. So Jada gives her a ultimatum. You bring me my son back. And I think it was like in 24 hours or you're going to have to deal with me, bat bitch. And she didn't do it. She fucking forgot. Alice had to be the one to remind her, I see you missed your deadline with Jada. And then she was like, oh shit, I was too busy in my head over Sophie over here and getting laid later that I didn't think about the fact that I had a whole ass agreement with my mom who doesn't realize that I'm her daughter. And so Jada goes on TV and makes Batwoman enemy number fucking one. And I'm like, you know what? That's actually the coolest thing that happened in this whole damn episode. I'm completely fine with that. But what's interesting to me is that, so number one, I don't know how Jada does not realize that this is her child. And number two, back to the whole thing with Alice. So remember, they used Alice to help get Mary back, to help find Renee. She's the one that told them how to, look at, into the phone and like all the stuff that all the ideas she taught them or showed these people that should already know how to fucking do this on how to track Renee. And then she's like, Alice is like, well, I guess I'm going to go back to jail. You're going to help me with the mayor. And Ryan's like, nope. Because let me say it again. What is Ryan? Especially when it comes to Alice, a flat out bitch. So I don't like her. I don't like Ryan. I really don't. And I mean, I tried. I've been trying since season 2, episode 1 to like her. I can't. I absolutely can't. She has become a bitchy black version of Kate Kane. And I just can't handle it. So every time I watch this show, I just cringe. It's just like, wow, this is dumb. This is fucking dumb. This is fucking dumb. This is fucking dumb. Who writes this? And then I look it up and I'm like, wow. Like, especially if it's a person of color, I feel guilty for not liking something that you put out. And I'm like, I can't force myself to do that. I just can't. I'm going to say something, and this is the honest to God's truth. This is how I feel, even though I do kind of like Superman and Lois. I still am hanging in there with Naomi. I like Stargirl. Even Smallville had its problems. Live action transitions of DC have failed notoriously over and over and over. And Arrowverse and, DCEU over and over and over and over and over again. To the point where sometimes I wish that the CW lineup for Arrowverse was animated. I wish that all of these fucking shows were animations and had different writers, like the ones that do our animated movies and shows, like the Young Justice writers, hell, Doomsday, our Dooms Patrol, like fucking any other writer than what we have. I would wish that we could bring them in and make animated versions of these shows and just make them more adult themed. And most of the DC animations are pretty damn adult themed if you think about it. And then release it that way. Because quite frankly, I am fucking exhausted from all the fuckery in the Arrowverse. I'm exhausted. I really am. And I was dead serious with my Legends review when I said, for me, the biggest thing they could do is to go back and fix Crisis on Infinite Earth by not having it. Just not doing any of it. Don't do any of it. Because I am so tired. When Arrow season 1 came out, it was really good. It was a very good show. Season 2 was not bad. Season 3 and beyond got on my fucking nerves. The Flash season 1 had its cringe moments, but it wasn't bad. Season 2 was a little bit okay. And then beyond that, it started getting really fucking cheesy, and Flashpoint, all the other stuff. And then by this point, I'm just like, I don't give a fuck what happens to them. Team Flash can just go. I don't care. I liked Black Lightning. It had problems. I mean, it's an Arrowverse show, but at least they had a writing staff that continuously wrote kind of in continuity. And they did play up the fact that Lynn and Jefferson were toxic as fuck. And also had parental issues because, I mean, stereotypically coming from a minority parent, I could never talk to my minority parent the way that Anissa and Jen talked to Jefferson and Lynn and still be alive at the end of that conversation. So, I mean, that was kind of hard for me. But outside of that, most of the stuff in there, I could kind of wrap my mind around. So it wasn't like it was beyond, I didn't have to suspend my disbelief to believe that this family had issues and they were real and they were dealing with real shit. And it just seems like the more we go through, like we have Legends. Legends is always goofy. I'm not putting Legends in this bucket because they're always going to be goofy and not related to me. But like now, just right now with, just this week with Superman and Lois, just this week with, how slow Naomi is, which again, it's not fair because this is only episode 3. I need to get to the beef of her shit before I can start being positive or negative. So I'm going to take Naomi out of this conversation. So Superman and Lois, there are problems. There are problems in Superman and Lois. Still not a bad show, but there are fucking problems. Technically speaking, okay, now Batwoman's just shit. I mean, it's just shit. I really wasn't 100% invested in season 1 with Ruby Rose because even as Kate Kane, the writing was very interesting. I did not dislike the writing for some of the racist and chauvinistic and assholey reasons other people did. I don't think there was an agenda because she was a lesbian, because she was a fucking lesbian in the comic. I didn't think that her, being like this female power person and was like taking over her uncle or cousin's shit. It was this big deal. I didn't fall into all that shit. Bruce Wayne wasn't there. His shit was take it. I'm like, that's not the first time that shit's happened in the comics. Hell, Stargirl actually was more messed up in how she required, the Star Spangled Kids shit. in the comics than freaking Kate Kane. And yes, to be fair, Kate Kane did not take Batman stuff. She's a freaking millionaire and bought her own shit and got her own damn costume. But that's not what the Arrowverse chose to do. They chose to do it this way. What can we do about that? Nothing. But again, the writing still suffered because of the continuity crap that was going on. So yeah, I'm very exhausted picking apart, because it almost feels like I'm being negative every week, and I kind of feel like I am, but it's not enjoyable. When I watch Peacemaker, it's enjoyable. I know it's a different type of show. I know that there's a lot they could be doing, and they're doing a great job for having an 8-episode run. But I feel like the 8 episodes that they're going to have a Peacemaker are going to surpass anything that the Arrowverse has done since season 1 of fucking Arrow. That is ridiculous to me. That is how I feel. I mean, I'm in my feelings, I know, but I can't help it. I keep trying. I know that there are other YouTubers out there, ones that you have seen on this channel, others that you probably have not, that have given up on some of these damn shows and probably have no desire to do any of the other ones. And I keep trying because I am a comic book lover, and I want to see these characters portrayed as closely. They don't have to be exactly like the comics, but as closely in moral, or at least how they act, as close as possible in a live action adaptation that you can do. And we're not getting it. And so, the problem, the reason I'm worried about Naomi is they created Ryan Wilder. This is their fucking creation, and look what they've done. And they're going to take Naomi, who has a very small comic run so far. Yes, she's been involved with the Justice League. Yes, she's been, in Young Justice, but she's still a relatively newer character. They can fuck this up. It's so hard for me. So yeah, I think overall, this episode, like mostly all the other ones I've talked about, was straight garbage. So what we have to look forward to, maybe only for one episode, because let's be clear, whenever they have a big crisis in Batwoman, it's only one episode. So Jada going to war with her mom as Batwoman, basically. Or she's going to have to come clean that she's Batwoman, and her mother's going to have to backtrack. Marcus is going to light up the town as the new Joker, because we can't have the real Joker, so we got to have a substitute. Plus, you can't have a black Kate Kane without a black version of Alice in male form. Hello. So yeah, there's that. We are going to probably have Mary and her feelings. She's going to have a whole episode of PTSD from murdering somebody, and then she's probably going to abruptly get over it. The way Luke abruptly gets over his shit all the time too. Did I mention Luke and Batwing in this? No, I love Batwing, but not in this version. Why? Because he did the whole pep talk to himself when the vines were like taking over his suit, and he just did like a little spin, shot one, and then that was it. That was his moment to shine in his suit. And I look at that, and then I compare it to John Henry calling on his suit and that shit Iron Man war machining around his ass, and I'm like, light years apart. So whatever. Oh, Kevin, no. He is a mixed. He's a biracial. Look, he's not even the first black Joker. His daddy was white. I'm just saying. I would love to know, by the way, why do we not want to know who Ryan's biological father is? Questions. It better not be fucking Diggle. Throwing it out there. I'm putting this right now. Timestamp 1 hour, 18 minutes into the stream. They better not, because they've already implied that he had a thing, or something went down with Jada and Diggle. She better not be another fucking offspring of Diggle on this show. Just saying. Just putting it out there. It's there. And she better not be the product of Bruce Wayne either. Just throwing it out there. So yeah, we got Alice, who, again, I don't know if she's going to be in jail, because in the preview for next week, she's still with them. So I have no idea what's going to be going on with that. Will they be able to get the Batcave back since Marcus is now a whole ass villain? No, because, so let me tell you, Kevin, this is what happened. She's CEO, and she needed to get this serum to try and stop Mary, to save Mary. I believe it was Mary. And so she had an ultimatum from Marcus, sign over CEO and all rights of Wayne Enterprises to him for his help. And she did. And so now she's no longer the CEO. And then when she did that, a lot of the long-term employees were fired. And they no longer have access to the Batcave. So that is what's happening because, but it's okay because they still have the bar. Hopefully they gave Mary her money back too, since they were hacking her credit cards. Must be nice to be able to take other people's shit. It's really interesting in this. But yeah, so we had that. We have, of course, Renee and Pam, Poison Ivy, going to Coriana because, again, we still have no idea where Sophia is. Is she still laying on the beach with a dagger in her, or if she's actually in Coriana? Who knows? Who the hell knows? But it's to me, I think it's interesting that we're just done with that storyline. So she's just gone. No revenge against Alice, nothing. She's just effing gone. But they name dropped Coriana, which makes me feel like we may be seeing Sophia again in the future. Who the hell knows? But there's that. The whole underlining, flirting, not saying what they really want to say. You've been in my mind all day. It's not a distraction, but that bull fuckery between Sophie and Ryan. Not even worth talking about. So yeah, it's sad that you can literally summarize some of these shows just like that, and you really haven't missed much. There's really nothing at all. The highlight of the whole episode was probably them chasing the ambulance and scaring the hell out of the ambulance people, and Jada making Batwoman public enemy number one, throwing her under the bus, saying Batman at least kept all his villains in check. You can't even keep them on a leash. So loved it. All right, so that is that. I'm going to go ahead and start looking at a few questions. I want to make sure I give myself at least 9 or 10 minutes to do so. So let's see here. I love how StreamYard says, don't scroll up. I don't want you to scroll up. Oh, we've been talking in here. Legends was good. I mean, it wasn't bad. It just wasn't. It wasn't as enjoyable as past episodes. Okay, Naomi was good. Again, it wasn't bad. It was boring. Is what I basically would say with that. I can't wait for Legends. Next week is going to be good. You got the good Legends versus the evil Legends. I will agree with that. I am excited to see how that plays out. Naomi's family, I know the whole time that she was an alien, because they say this, what if I find her at... you cut off. I don't know where they found her at. Well, you mean that when they told her where they found her? Is that what you're saying? I mean, again, we don't know what they know. They are implying that they know she's an alien. They're not saying that. That could have been him bringing... Gray could have brought her to his ship. I mean, we have no idea. I cannot wait for Legends tomorrow. Season 7, episode 11 is going to be good. We finally get to see the Legends fight robot versions of themselves. This is going to be a fight. Y'all better get ready. Naomi, episode 3 was pretty good. Superman and Lois was good. I think you just like the Arrowverse. Hi, Bart. How are you? Hello, Latino. How are you doing? I'm looking forward to seeing the Legends fight the robot Legends next week. So am I. I think that's actually it's gonna make up for how slow this episode was this week. I really believe that. I think Spooner and Zari 2.0 get a thing going. I mean, who knows? I mean, at this point, Spooner doesn't want anybody. So, I mean, she's asexual. It doesn't mean she doesn't want to be in a relationship, but she's not attracted to anybody. So she made it clear she was not into anybody. So when she kept saying, I'm not really into them, I thought she was going to say, I think that you're hot. I thought that's where we were going with this. That's not where we were going with this. Let's see. Which Lana do you like most? The OG Lana in the original series Smallville, or Superman and Lois Lana Lane? Probably Superman and Lois, because Kristen Crook was okay as Lana, but there were times when she got on my fucking nerves. But to be fair, she actually had a longer run as Lana, so there's that. If I'm going to talk about a favorite Lana Lang in general, it's going to be Stacey Hyduck from the Superboy series. I thought she did a really good job as Lana Lang, and she had red hair like she's supposed to. This says one thing, then goes the other. Which one? Like, are you talking about Arrowverse as a whole? The seasons Sarah seemed to be shady to me towards Jordan. Now we know why. Oh, but you know what? It doesn't matter. Like Sarah could have probably gone and slept with this girl or guy or whoever. Could have had an orgy at camp. It wouldn't have mattered because apparently you don't have to do anything. If you're a cheater, there are no consequences. We learned this from watching Charmed. Charmed is notorious for cheaters. So, especially the new Charmed series, they cheat all the damn time. So I love Charmed, but I'm gonna keep it real. You know, hell, Nico was even with Mel in Charmed because she cheated up with Mel on her fiance. So it is what it is. CW, please start all over. What you're doing now is not working. Amen. A effing men. I think that was Bizarro was raging. Yeah, he's for some reason Superman is like telepathically linked to him, and I don't know why. It doesn't make any sense to me. I swear the whole Camp family needs therapy, and a lot of it. Yep. I mean, every time Lois like gets in her feelings, you know, she's always like, "Boys, go to your room now," and then she's like, "Clark, you yelled at the boys and scared them. Go apologize." And I'm like, "Bitch, what?" I'm like, what? Oh, Lord. In your honest opinion, do you like Superman and Lois? I stopped watching all CW for my mental health and peace of mind to prepare for Charm, but should I get back into the show? There are good points and there are bad points. I will say Superman and Lois seems to have more of the HBO Max budget. So overall, it's not a bad, it's never going to be a Batwoman or a Flash for me. This show I actually will probably still watch. I think the reason I'm really still watching it is to see if Jonathan becomes Prime Superboy. I think that's really the reason I keep watching this show. And I also like the fact that we have Still and Future Still. So John Henry and Nat are both in it as well. But again, I always point out, if you know your comic books, that Nat was never his daughter. It was his niece. But that's a whole other, you know, CW, do what they do. So yeah, I guess I would tell you to give season 1 a chance. If you like season 1, then you probably will like season 2. I love that you're in here being spoiled because you haven't watched the show right now. I feel bad, but yeah, I would give it a chance. Just like I'm giving Naomi a chance. So that's my honest opinion. Now, if you want me to tell you whether you should watch Batwoman, hell no. Even The Flash right now, I think we all watch The Flash to see what characters they bring in and how they reinvent them. Because even Chester P, you know, Chester P is supposed to be like 300 pounds and he had like void powers. I mean, he was a metahuman, and he's just this whiny little hacker who, when he first got introduced, I actually liked him a lot. And now he's just this whiny little guy who just whines and fucking whines and gets hurt. He gets his feelings hurt. And we spend more time worrying about Chester P's feelings than the fucking plot. And it's just like, I can't. I just can't. So I wouldn't watch The Flash. I would not watch Batwoman. You can watch Legends because, again, Legends is not Arrowverse. So it's supposed to be, but it's not. So that's fine. Stargirl actually did a bang up job on season 1 and 2. I'm not hating on that at all. So Stargirl, Superman and Lois, and potentially Naomi are the 3 that I would say to watch. All the other ones, fuck them. That's how I feel. If I could get away with you guys just doing those 3 shows, I'd be in heaven. But I'm trying to be fair, which I don't feel like I'm being fair because I'm telling the truth of how I feel. I'm just telling you their shit. So I don't know. We'll see. We will see. One day Jonathan is going to snap and all hell is going to break loose. Yeah, I used to think that Jordan was going to be Brightburn, but it might actually end up being Jonathan. Superman and Lois is currently still one of the best shows on CW. It's great. Charmed is a whole lot. I'm watching season 4, but I don't have any hope for Charmed getting good. So I put in the community tab if you want to know how I feel. I mean, I did a whole video with Eloy last year, our season 4 predictions. And so I even put a timestamp in the community tab. And when we specifically talk about Lucy's character, who she's going to be in Charmed, or what we think. But I will say my theory for her, and I said this to Eloy, I thought it would be cool if she was actually a Charm one from another Charm group and one of the sisters died, or a Charm one from Parallel Universe, or Charm one that's from the future, but someone who was already an established Charm one, and that's why she knows the symbol. Now, they're probably going to do something else. And I do have a few other theories, but I feel like all of them would be weird. So just how Harry reacted in the teaser trailer tells me I'm a little worried. I'm not going to judge it until I see the pilot and maybe see her in another episode after that. But believe me, we will be reviewing it on this channel. So no worries there. Todd Helmut said we have two antagonists. The first, which is lesser Bizarro, and the second and much bigger, of whom is probably connected to Petra. Oh, Lord. I just want them to bring Darkseid. Just bring fucking Darkseid. Just do it. Maybe Bizarro will take over Clark's life like they did in Smallville. Why not? Why the hell not? You made it in time. Well, kind of. That field trip was a mess. Yeah, look, I would not let these kids go anywhere. That's how I feel. Plus, they had like one chaperone, one tour guide, no teachers, nothing. They were just like walking around following one speaker, and their job isn't to babysit you. So I don't know what they thought was going to happen in that scenario, but whatever. I feel like the CW sale probably won't affect any of the shows. Why? The shows are literally the only reason any businessman would buy it, especially if the network itself never made a profit. Well, you just have to understand, and I really had to think hard on this because they used to drive me crazy. I'm like, I would watch stuff and I would be like, why are people doing these reviews on these shows in such a positive light? And why are these people fanning over them? It's because people find ships they like, people have representation they you don't normally see. And so they're actually able and willing and do accept absolutely anything, even if it's trash. That is what it is. And I find it very sad. And then I hate when people get in their feelings when you don't like something that they're into, because the whole purpose of reviewing something is to review it by your standards. You know what I mean? By the reviewer. I am not putting my opinion in other people's heads and other people's mouths. This is just what I think. You could love the shit, and it's your right to do that. So like, it's just interesting to me. So I don't know. But I will never understand when people like Batwoman. I'm sorry. Other than the fact that people are happy that we finally have a POC, a complete POC. If you take Alice out, a POC Bat team and a Black Superwoman, Batwoman. That'd be cool. A Black Superwoman. Well, technically, that's Naomi. That's what she is anyway. Which is it's sad that we don't have Batman established. Or maybe we can have Batman established on her Earth, because obviously she's not on the same Earth. So if she's on Earth Zero in the comics, she could be on Earth Zero in the Prime universe. But probably not. I don't know. And this Prime in CW land is Earth Zero. But I thought it was Earth 1. Because Stargirl's on Earth 2. This is so fucked up. I like Naomi so far. The series just started. I'm open-minded, and when I found out that Barry Watson was on the show, I said, holy hell, Matt Kevin is one of the characters in Seventh Heaven. I remember watching Matt. Yeah, they had a lot of children. And then I think he in real life, he kept leaving the show because he got, I think it was non-Hodgkin. I know he had cancer. But yeah, I am very happy that he's working again. And he's still cute, but he has that older, he looks so different from how he looked in Seventh Heaven, which kind of makes sense because of the age. But yeah, I wonder if he has a reunion with Jessica Biel since she was Mary on that show. I always wondered. Naomi's parents clearly sheltered her. Yep. And spoiled her 100 trillion%. The problem is Naomi is a teenager and thinks she knows it all when she clearly doesn't. The problem also is she's got an attitude problem, and she obviously was never punished. She's never been punished probably in her life. Because they were like, I'm going to take your phone. She had this look on her face like, my phone? Really? You're really going to take something from me? Because this child, and I think I said this in the pilot episode, I said, why is this girl out on her skateboard in the middle of the night on a school night? I was not that parent. And I didn't have those parents. So that to me in itself tells me that there's no consequences for her. So she probably did think that this was messed up because they've never inflicted or they never expected her to be home. They never expected her to do what they wanted. And that's bad parenting in a way, but whatever. I think Naomi is a show off with a lot of potential and a bit hard to review because its structure seems more theatrical than episodic. I agree with that. It almost feels like they're setting up Endgame. So we'll give you a little bit of that, a little bit of this. I just wish, if you guys watch my Yashahime reviews, I said the same thing about season 1 of Yashahime. We would get little bits and pieces of what actually happened to some of the characters. And it wasn't until season 2 that we actually started getting actual exposition. And it's like, I'm really worried that that is what's going to happen with Naomi. We're going to get like a little nugget, and they're going to be like, okay. And now lots of fluff. You have your friends like flirt with you, and your parents are upset with you. You know, you can't go to the dance. And then a little nugget of this, you know, I like how they do it on Stargirl. I think how Stargirl is done backstory wise, exposition wise, for me is amazing. But maybe it's because they have Luke Wilson and they have Amy Lucker and a bunch of other people that are established actors. Not saying that the actors in Naomi are not as established, because again, Barry Watson was on Seventh Heaven. He's been in movies, a few movies anyway. But some of the other ones are kind of unknown to me. So I feel like maybe if they had like a cast that was more higher profile cast, then maybe it would be a little bit different. But since, you know, this is a reinvention, you know, and with lesser known actors, maybe that's the difference. I don't know. Plus, to be fair, Naomi started in the CW. Stargirl did not. So they started on DC Universe. So could be a reason why it's light years apart in my mind. Naomi is Clark Kent. If he discovered he had powers later, he was a popular kid in school and was a romantic player with options. Her parents are overcompensated a lot with her as a kid until Clark, unlike Clark. Hell, Clark, I have the original Superboy comics. That boy was not popular. He was a damn nerd then. He's a damn nerd now. I wish they mentioned Lori Lemaris. I always say that they always say about Superman's loves, Lana Lang, you know, Lois Lane, and sometimes Diana Price or Prince or Wonder Woman. They never mentioned Lori Lemaris, the whole ass mermaid that he was with. Yes, he was with a mermaid who on land, she was paralyzed in a wheelchair, but when she hit the water, she was a mermaid. I know this is off topic, but I didn't know that Inuyasha was first before Yashahime. I watched the first episode of Inuyasha of season 1, and damn, I'm hooked now. Yeah, Inuyasha will get you, and I'm gonna tell you, it's a long ride. They have a lot of seasons, so have fun. But at least I think they're all out now, so you shouldn't have problems finding them. But yep, you're watching the Yashahime girls' parents before they became parents and hooked up. Of course, the parents knew the truth. Like, of course they did. That's not like that at all. Arrowverse. Arrowverse. Just Arrowverse. I mean, does this world even have superheroes? I don't know anymore. I'm more concerned that if that really was Superman, and she knows of Superman, then does that not mean that she knows that Clark Kent is Superman in the comic? Therefore, she knows his secret identity. And if that's the truth and there really is a Superman, why would you let anybody write a comic where you were Clark Kent and you're actually Clark Kent? Like, that just seems really weird. That's some Spaceball stuff. That's when they were looking at that video a lot of time, seeing themselves and were like, this is then and that is now. You know? So I feel like that is just weird. I don't know what to think about the superheroes. And because, I mean, they kind of pulled that a little bit too, if you think about it, you know, in Black Lightning, because they had a comic book store, you know, and they would always like, and this would go to the comic book store to flirt with Grace, but Grace was a comic book nerd and worked in the comic book store, and they would talk about, you know, these different characters. I think they even, I'm trying to think if they actually name dropped some of the teams in I'm pretty sure they did, actually. I think they did name drop some of the teams in the comics that they were reading. I'll have to go back and look, because eventually they even had a Thunder comic. I remember them saying, there's a Thunder comic about you. I was like, that's plot convenient. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to believe in that at all. The show is definitely a slow burn. Yes, it is. Did you see this Charmed season 4 promo? I did. And as I said before, on the community tab, you will see my theory and timestamp on what I think is going on with her, potentially. Overall, though, plot-wise, just like everything that Harry's saying, he already is in. Harry doesn't want another Charm when he wants Macy back. He's in his feelings. He's grieving. I don't know. To be fair, I'm more curious to see what's going on with Jordan right now than this girl. I'm gonna be real with you. I don't know how she plays a role. I know that people are going to be in their feelings that she's not a sister. They're going to be in her feelings if she moves into Macy's room. You know, kind of like if you watch OG Charmed, whenever Paige moved into Prue's room, they were in their feelings. So yeah, I always thought that was something. I think that's going to be, it's going to be hard depending on how they bring her in. I think they're going to think that they're being inventive, creative, all the above, innovative, and then people are going to be like, no, you're just stupid. So I don't know. I don't know if it's safe to have faith in them, because if you watch my charm reviews, I've had video or episodes I liked and ones I thought were absolutely fucking stupid. So we'll see. There's supposed to be a new writing team, new producers. Although some of the writers are still there because I saw them on Instagram. So I don't know. We'll see. We will see. The episode of Legend of Tomorrow got me playing on my phone. I felt it was a little slow for me. Thank you. It was very slow. Absolutely slow. Sarah's evil twin. Yes, she's going to fight her evil twin, and I'm here for it. Time for liquid courage. Yeah, this is actually just my water bottle, and I love this. This is a hydro flask. It's very expensive, but it keeps everything cold for a very long time. And I'm using this liquid water courage because I can't drink. I'm allergic to alcohol, to get me through. And plus, I'm still sick. I've been sick since like Friday night. I don't know what it is. Not COVID-like symptoms, but I do have a medical problem. It might just be flaring up. So I was not able to do anything yesterday. I just lay down and watched Netflix. I was out. And I feel better today, which is why you have me. But I won't be doing the stream much longer because my voice will go out soon. And I build up my voice to do 2 streams today. So we'll see what happens. Glad I don't have voice work today. No way Ryan could take Pam. She was nowhere near taking new baby Mary. Thank you. Like I said, it's fucking stupid. I don't buy that at all. She doesn't need liquid courage to watch Batwoman, just liquid patience. I need to be put to sleep. That's what I do. Just let me take a tranquilizer and I can get through this show. Honestly, based on what we have seen of Ryan, having her beat anyone is dubious. Thank you. I can see her taking on a few like faceless people, or like maybe a Putty from Power Rangers, but like I don't feel like she is on the level of any villain. So, but I mean, let's be clear. Victor Zazan, Black Mask. Who else? Killer Croc. I'm just throwing that out there, guys. Who else? Who else would destroy her though? Hell, I think Killer Frost would kill her ass from the Flash. Allegra would probably kill her from the Flash. I say probably. She would definitely kill her. Cisco probably would take her out, especially if he had his powers back. I don't know. She might beat Cisco if he didn't have his powers. She would definitely she beat Chester P, but then he would cry and then everybody would kill her. We already know she beat the hell out of Luke. But Ryan cannot beat Sophie. And the moment that they have a fight and she beats Sophie, you already know, guys, I'm out. I can't. There are certain scenarios of Batwoman, even though I think it's trash, that I will be out and you will never hear me talk about that show again. And her beating Sophie in a fight is one of them. I refuse. Her being revealed to be Diggle, or Bruce Wayne's child, I'm out. Because I can't. I just fucking can't. If they kill Mary off, I'm out. I mean, I like Mary and I like Alice sometimes, and I like Sophie. If any of those 3 characters are killed off the show, I am out. So, and I don't know how long they're going to keep Alice around, because they have to redeem her. They have to make her part of the team. She has no reason. There's no reason why a villain should stick around town for so long. She's been trying to leave Gotham for how long and how many seasons now? So eventually Rachel's going to be out of a job. So I don't know what that means. This Poison Ivy storyline was a bit slow for me. This Poison Ivy story was actually very fucking stupid. It's actually, this storyline for me is up there with one of my most hated storylines, which you guys know is One More Day. And I fucking hate that Spider-Man run. And so when you have that One More Day and all of the confuckery around Civil War and everything that led to, and then you have this story is just stupid. Like Renee Montoya, for all the new generation of people who don't know who Renee Montoya is and do not know how cool she was, they're going to look at this woman and be like, oh, wow, Renee Montoya is a little bitch. We don't like her. And I think that is so sad. It's just so effing sad. And so it was just fucking trash. But it was cool seeing Diggle again. We'll see Diggle. Trust me, Diggle is all over the damn place. He's becoming Professor X, right? And you guys tell me that he's going to be Gotham, or is it Gotham U, recruiting superheroes, the next generation, and training them. So he's going to be the next Professor X for DC. Rhea, tell us how you feel. I'm trying, right? I mean, Poison Ivy is an eco-terrorist. She is. She actually is. And she would have killed Ryan's ass. The fact that she was having so many conversations really like, why are you explaining shit? Stop telling them your plan. Just off them. You really want to do your shit? Kill them. That's what you do. The Poison Ivy stuff felt so flat. This whole series is flat. I mean, they build look at Mary. They made it feel like Mary was like this big thing that they were doing. And like, oh my God, it's breaking our hearts. And they didn't really focus on it a lot. They focus more on the fact that Sophie and Ryan want to fuck each other. That's literally what we've gotten out of this show. That's it. If you want an overall theme of Batwoman, Ryan and Sophie want to fuck each other. There you go. The Joker joy buzzer is now found. Yeah, it was never lost because Renee had it the whole damn time. Okay, I think I told you what happened in the Batcave. The joy buzzer makes no scientific sense for this cure. The physical damage and the PTSD cannot be undone by more of the same trauma. I know they make it feel like Joker got zapped in the brain. It would have made more sense for them to use the Joker toxin and then try and find a way to reverse it or find ways to take pills to like maintain something with it to make you less crazy or whatever. I would have accepted that. Him having to be on medication like somebody who has schizophrenia or bipolar disease. There's no shame in that. That's just you maintaining your mental health. That made sense. Zapping this motherfucker again in the brain doesn't make any damn sense. Unless you're going to do a lobotomy. But you know what? That's fine. You do you, booze. Also, Marcus is the CEO of Wayne Enterprises. No one is questioning where he is. Nobody questioned why the hell Ryan was the CEO. She's a fucking felon and she was the face of a company that's been established for 40 years. I'm like, this is our CEO, Ryan Walder, in her new Versace dress. You might have actually seen her wear this in her prison stripes or her orange liqueur jail outfit from Orange is the New Black. She's definitely overcome a lot. What qualifications does she have? A business degree? Nah, she doesn't need a business degree. Basically, her predecessor decided to just say she was the one. We didn't vote on it because we don't have to vote here at Wayne Enterprises. We have no voice as shareholders. Except we do when controversy comes out about Ryan and we threaten to, like, I don't know, get her to quit. But outside of that, it's all good because we fucking suck at writing. That's what that is. I feel like the real paramedics would be so offended by this. Yeah, I do too. But, you know, again, like I said, this show is a train wreck. So it makes sense. Marcus is going to come back all the sick to skin like... I don't know what the hell Marcus. Like I said, they needed a Joker. We needed to have a POC Joker. We needed to have the sibling villain so that our Black Kate Kane can have her same Kate Kane life. That's what we needed. That's why we have the rich mother, you know, the question mark father, like all this shit. It's stupid. I really wish they would have made this Meta Mary as the current news state as a way to fold the character out. Ivy Mary should have been put in Belle Reve. Yep. There are no consequences for killing this man. Except for her guilt. Because she does feel guilty. Mary does feel guilty. She's a doctor. She does no harm. And that's not true anymore. Redemption, my ass. Oh, Mary doesn't even fit the Bat family. That was the whole point. She fit more with Alice Leaps and Bounds. I actually love that they actually gave something to each other that they needed. The fact that you have to bond with the woman who killed your mother, but technically is still your stepsister. And your family, and is actually the one who was instrumental in getting you back. I mean, I think if they had really thought about the relationship they were going to build between Mary and Alice, they would not have written Alice killing her mother. I think that is something that the current writers just didn't fucking think about. They're like, oh, yeah, that does suck. Because look at Ryan. Ryan holds a grudge against Alice, and Alice wasn't the one that physically killed her adopted mother and didn't order it. And Mary actually had her mother taken by Alice, and she's the one that's actually talking and bonding more with. It's just stupid. It's just completely stupid. Okay, let's see. They make Ryan and Sophie so toxic. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Mary did hit them with some truths this episode. Sophie's unemployed, and now she wants to be in a relationship with an ex-con newly off probation. I love that. I didn't want to say it. I'm glad you did. She, like I said, she said her disparaging remarks. I was there for it. I was there for it. Maria signed out, listen to the YouTube. Some of the clips of Joe Rogan on a race is made some headlines, and then the rebuttal of Don Lemon show with a professor on the topic. Okay, I'll have to look at that. Like I said, we live in a society that is all around discriminatory. So, I mean, across the board, someone's always going to discriminate or say racist something or another. I'm so used to it. I'm still in my feelings about biracial Becky. I don't understand what the hell that is. And it's something that people have been saying a lot on TikTok and Instagram and Reels. And I'm like, really? So when you have somebody who calls the police on POCs that's white and female, they're known as Karen. But now they have biracial Becky. I'm like, what the fuck is that? So yeah, we have that video over on Victoria Rain's channel. She put it out today. I don't get it. Go off on Batwoman, Angry Grandma. Also, I agree. Batwoman sucks. I mean, it just does. Angry Kaide. Kaide's not angry. She just puts up with shit. I'm not Kaide. No, that's the wrong analogy. I think I'm closer to Angry Grandma Boma than I am to Kaide. Would you and Jet be interested in doing a versus episode where you discuss Harry Potter versus Tim Hunter Books of Magic? Can you put that in the comments? I'll ask him. She tried to kill people and destroy the city, but she got a happy... You see, I'm old, right? I have my glasses on. She tried to kill people and destroy the city, but she gets a happy ending. I mean... What show is it? Why didn't they freeze him or have him in a cell behind bars? Exactly! It's fucking stupid! This is a person that can never wake up, so put him out in the open with just an IV in his arm and make sure no water gets around him. I mean, a fucking intern could come in and spill coffee on him accidentally and wake him up. It's so stupid. Also, wasn't he on life support? I think that was keeping him sedated. Well, the stuff is keeping him sedated, but I think it was keeping him hydrated. So I think he had an IV in for that, but not life support. Which makes me wonder about Pam. But I guess because she's more plant-based in power, maybe she's able to sustain herself with a little bit of moisture through, the earth or something, or from her own body. I don't know. I don't understand how Pam lived that long without water, but that's me. Because, I mean, nothing about photosynthesis or anything in regards to plants ever explained how they lived without sunlight and water, but whatever. Even if that theory did work, it would be necessary for the buzzer. It would be more about the voltage, which they have no idea of knowing what the setting was on. Who's going to be the guinea pig for that? Ryan. That's who we need to use. Also, they poison the IVOP as she gets taken out like that week. I know. Now when you go back and watch Harley Quinn show with Poison Ivy in it, you're going to be like, nope. Plus, there's no universe that Renee Montoya will be with Poison Ivy in the first damn place. They keep using Alice in season 2. None of the big wins of this team could be accomplished without Alice. Yeah, they're just weak and dumb. I don't know. I don't understand how to explain it. They just aren't good. Like another commenter said on another review, I refuse to support a show that took 3 seasons to be okay. And my edit to that is I refuse to support a show that still is not okay at season 3. I'm like, Alice is the serious version of Harley Quinn. I agree with that. Yeah, I don't like Ryan also. She's too new blood for me and self-centered. She's too brand on the MF new, and I can't rock with people like that. I mean, I'm telling you, she's got an attitude. Like it's almost like everybody owes her something. Oh, you shit. I mean, I don't. And like I said, I'm still working on my Batwoman, how to fix the show review. Outside of having Wallace Day stay as Batwoman and not having the whole Ryan situation in the first place. If we had to have Ryan, you guys would have liked my Ryan Wilder, because this shit is not flying at all. Oh my God, new Bizarro. They did that. DC animated dominates. I know they have them in animation form. They've actually had them on a lot of different Superboy and Superman shows. I think we had Bizarro on Lois and Clark, if I'm not mistaken. And I have to go back and look. Vixen was animated, yep, but it was not on primetime CW. It was on the app. And yes, DC animated shows are awesome. I would be down with it if we had all DC stuff, like no joke. If all of the DC properties on CW were animated, it will be fine. People would tune into that. I don't think they realize that we would watch fucking animations from them. Marvel does good live action while DC does good animated shows. True. Now, I will say some of Marvel stuff is kind of hit or miss because as much as people like the Eternals, and I know it's not really their fault. They had a lot of stuff to put in with no backstory, they had no preparation, nothing. Like the Eternals were not known, even though they supposedly came first. So you were trying to do a lot in this movie. So what they did, like for what the limited stuff that they had, they didn't do a bad job at Eternals. I just feel like it was pretty much the Spider-Man 3 Tobey Maguire run. It's too much. It was just too much. So there are movies that I'm kind of like, meh, but for the most part, and let's be clear, the MCU takes liberties all the damn time. They change characters. I talked about that in my Hawkeye review. There are so many characters that are not in it and not related, and then ones that are in it that have no connection to the characters that were very instrumental to the people being who they are in the comics. So I don't give any of them props for being accurate in terms of bios of these characters, but at least there's continuity for the most part. So there's that. That's the one thing they have on DCEU. And Arrowverse, I don't even know. Can you even call it a continuity error when it never made sense to fucking begin with? So that's a thing. Let's see. I missed the more aloof Luna Lovegood, Alice of season 1, then the psychopath Alice since Kane left to the brains of the new Bat team. I think they didn't know because you can tell they don't know what to do with Alice. This is a new writing team. They don't know what the fuck to do. They were like, well, damn, she's the twin of Kate Kane, but Kate Kane's not gone. Jacob Kane's gone. What's left? So, and like, I still don't understand how they're so angry. And yes, Alice has done some horrific things, but everybody gets a pass for murdering people and doing horrific things. And it's even implied that Marcus killed his own damn father by making him choke to death on peanuts for a peanut allergy without an EpiPen. That's murder. But he's going to get a pass because he was zapped in the brain by a Joker buzzer. But yet, Beth was held hostage for 13 years, forced to make skin masks, and had one book for entertainment for 13 fucking years, and then escapes from that situation, ends up going to Koryana, and then being brainwashed into being even more evil. And nobody says, well, Alice is a victim. That's what I don't understand. If anybody has mental health, a good insanity plea, it's Alice. I don't know. I don't get it. Jen and Nissa came from super educated neoliberal parents of the Your Kid and Time Out brand. They do exist. I have a problem with it because my reality was spanking, but they are those kind of people too. Yeah, mine was the same way. Now, my mother was British, so she didn't have a lot to say about politics in America. My dad, being Black and Native American and military, he was a Democrat, but like, that's all we got. I kind of feel like, so you don't have to spank your children. I've never spanked my daughter. I've threatened to toss her out the window, but I've never spanked her. I've taken stuff from her. Even now, she's 25 years old. She has her own job, but she lives in my house and she doesn't do what I want. And then I'll take something. You don't like it, go find a place. So it is what it is. I am that parent. You are not going to talk to me because, like, if I went through 18 and a half hours of pain to have you, guess what? You're going to respect that fact. If not, make another one, start over. So I understand what you're saying, that there are those kids that put you in time, our parents that put you in timeout, or they don't want to traumatize you by being abusive or putting boundaries on you. They want you to be creative and independent. But sometimes the kids just got to will their ass in. Naomi should have been reeled in. Especially since she's gonna. If they knew she had superpowers and was an alien, they should have put the fear of God in her from beginning. We're like, you have the power to potentially take out the world. Let me scare you with my mother and father voice. I'm like, it doesn't make any sense. In all reality, Ryan did allow all of those weapons to hit the street on her watch, and that should have been her big mention. Sits in the same way. That's how she got the bat gig, just from the damn suit. Yep. Because it's going to be Lucius Fox. Her daddy better not be fucking Lucius Fox. And then Ryan and Luke will have it out, because Luke will be like, my daddy cheated with your mama. Kevin, how dare you take that back? He is not Black Joker or any other Joker family. He can be a Black Alice. He is mixed, people. If his daddy's white, he is mixed. You know how I am on this channel. I'm very adamant. We're going to have, us mixed people going to have our space. He is the first mixed Joker. Except, I don't even think he's that. I don't think he's Punchline. I don't know. Joker is crazy. Marcus really isn't. So he's more of a sociopath. I think there's a difference. I don't really know what they plan on doing to Marcus, but Marcus is probably going to have a redemption arc, because that's what's happening in this. And then she's going to get with her mom, and they're going to be a little family, blah, 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 and I don't give a fuck. I feel like this is some kind of reboot happening by stripping them most of Bruce Wayne's they could be trying to get rid of Bruce Wayne stuff, but then what? You can't afford any of the tech on your own, so that doesn't make any sense. This still makes no sense. The repairs are replacing a back gear. Is Ryan running back after every fight and collecting all those batarangs? Those aren't cheap, girl. And I think they put them all in duffel bags, because remember, she had the suit in the duffel bag. So I think all of those stuff are in multiple duffel bags. They grabbed all of it when they were leaving. Why don't you just officially put them together? Why are you doing this dancing after the kiss? Because they're stupid. And because they know nobody gives a shit. Batman didn't keep all his villains in check. Ask Clark and Lois and their baby. That wasn't this Earth. And injustice didn't happen in this Earth. So different. That's a different Clark. I missed the first 2 seasons of Legends and the stewardship of Rip. And I loved Rip. But then again, it's because I loved the pawns in Doctor Who. So, he was great at Doctor Who. Really, really loved his character. Naomi is good, but they just need to pick up the pace. How long did it take Anissa to throw on that wig and get once she figured it out? Hell, she was doing it the next episode. So you're right. It's just slow. It's very, very slow. Smallville, Lana was badass. What you mean about Lana as a Luther and also the head of the ISIS Foundation with everything? Lana having Lex run for his money and was just as smart and ruthless. I think the run that I hated the most for her was when she started going out with what the hell was his name from Supernatural? You know what I'm talking about. For some reason, all their names just popped out of my head. It's like Winchester's in my head, but their names are out of my head. But her boyfriend, that whole run to me was just stupid. There were moments I did not like her. I'm just gonna be real with you. I've always been a Tom Welling, Erica Durant stan. I love them together. I thought they had chemistry. I love that Erica's version of Lois did not take shit from anybody, especially Clark, before he even became Superman. So she was like instrumental in letting him know to stay in his lane. I love that. I absolutely love it, because if you look at, they have this dynamic where Clark didn't back down, but he also knew to shut up. And Superman and Lois wears the pants in that relationship. We all see it. I read on CBR or Screen Rant, it's a side effect of Crisis in this world. It's similar to Beth and Alice doppelgangers cannot exist on the same planet since New Crisis rules. I'm like, I can't. All right. I know we still have some more stuff. I'm trying to randomly pick. Why are you spamming me? Let me scroll down a little bit. Maria says the magic word Bulma and transferring the magical girl anger grandma. Yep. I need a theme song. That'd be cool. Be cool as hell. Jensen Echoes. Dean. That's what I was thinking about. Dean. Yes. That run got on my nerves. I don't know what it was. Hi, Maria. Will you make a charm video soon? Promo for season 4 is out. I know. I actually saw it the morning it came out. I did an entire season 4 theory video. I linked it on the community tab. So if you go there and watch the video I did with Eloy, it will kind of give you more perspective. This was not a trailer. This was a teaser. We saw basically Harry and his feelings. We saw a girl approach them with braids and drawing the charm symbol on the wall. And she was at the house. There was nothing to it. So like, if you want to know what I think though, and on the community tab, go click on that. And it will tell you exactly what I think about the new girl, my theories. The whole video talks about, we're talking about season 4. So Lois has always wore the pants. That's true. But JJ is powerful. Maria, you need to design like Angry Grandma segment and do a whole edit and opening on StreamYard. I should. I'm trying, guys. I really should. But know that my Batwoman, how I would fix it. I've been working on that. So that one is coming. Because I have so many good ideas. I've been paring down. I'm like, I want to do this one and this one. This is how I bring her in. And this is what I would do with these characters. So I would love, this is how it's going to be called. This is how I would fix Batwoman. You know, basically the cure for the train wreck. That's what I would do. So that video is absolutely coming. But right now, because my voice is going out, I hear it. I'm about to end this stream. And then I'm going to go make dinner. And then I'm going to watch some more of We Are All Dead. If you have not watched We Are All Dead, the zombie Korean show that's streaming on Netflix that came out Friday, you are missing out. Especially if you are a Train to Busan fan. It is literally on that level. So think of it on that level, set up in part in high school, and part in another part of Korea, a smaller town in Korea called Hansong. So if you love that genre, you will love, if you love Train to Busan, you will probably love this show. And it is, when I tell you some stuff happens in this one that are unique to a zombie or zombie type property, it is insane. I might actually do like a review on this probably sometime at the end of this week, because I like it. I'm on episode 6 and there are 12 episodes. So yeah, check it out if you have not, because it is amazing. But as for my Charmed 4, when they do a full trailer before March, I will definitely do a video on that. But this teaser video, I mean, all I'm going to tell you is the same shit I told you in that video, because we don't have anything. It's not telling me anything other than the fact that what I already knew, Harry's in his feelings because Macy's dead. We have no idea who this chick is. I have theories on it. It's in the video. I put the time stamp up on the community tab, and just basically her writing the symbol down and the girl saying, "Who are you?" Is this still? It's so reminiscent of OG Charm and Paige. You know, showed up at the funeral. It's just the same shit. So until they have a full trailer, because we don't see Jordan, we don't see these new characters they just announced. All of that stuff needs to come into play. And then I will do a breakdown, because I'm going to do Charm videos. There's no universe where I'm not going to review Charmed. So unless I die before March, it's happening. So be on the lookout. But right now, as far as the teaser, I just don't feel like there's a lot for me to even talk about. It's just, there's nothing. It's just a teaser. And sometimes I do teasers. It just wasn't one. All right, guys. My voice is going. You guys have been awesome. Thank you for letting me review and rant on the Arrowverse, because it's therapeutic for us all. But if it is day for you guys, have a good day. If it is night for you, have a good night. Make sure to put more of your questions, theories, concerns at the bottom of the comment section. And I will see you in our next stream. Bye, guys.